Last week I talked to you about the practice, and you'll remember I said that I started out by saying that I had gotten some feedback from some people who had just come here for the first time saying this was difficult. And I found that surprising, because I think it's easy. Of course, I've been doing it for 45 years. So in order to try to make it manageable, I broke it down into 3 parts. The breath, which consists of the double breath, which is very powerful, which has the effect of activating your energetic mechanism, releasing the tensions in your physical body, and beginning to move the energy and quiet your mind. You'll remember I shared with you that in the white cloud system of Taoist internal energy practice called Qigong, this particular breathing exercise is one of the very most important. But it's also a breathing practice that is found in my own tradition coming out of India. So the Indians weren't the only people who figured out this was really strong. And then the second part of the breathing is in between the strong breaths that we do. We're going to take our attention to the 3 main junction points in our energetic mechanism, in our perineum, in our heart, which is in the middle of our chest, not the pump, the energetic heart, and between the eyebrows to the top of the head. And we're going to start to activate those centers, and in that process, initiate movement in a deeper part of our being. And the third thing I said was that the third part of the practice is managing the mind. That pesky creature. And the way we manage the mind has 2 tiers in it, 2 parts to it. One is, it is really important for us to understand very simply, we have a purpose in this world. It is not a unique purpose. It is a purpose that we all share. It's really simple. We're in this world to grow. Everybody is in this world to grow. And it is my experience that if you really understand this, in each and every context, in each and every field of experience, in each and every situation in your life that you find yourself, you will never be confused. And further, you will have the capacity to take every painful and disappointing experience that you ever have and turn it into nourishment, which is positive. And I'm not saying find something good in it, because I'm not saying that. I'm saying you will take the energy of it into yourself, and holding that energy inside you, it will change you. It will reorganize you internally and completely. My teacher was fierce. He was fierce. And my tradition, all the people I've studied with, are fierce. Our practice is not a practice where we close our eyes to the world and go to a happy place. And I'm not criticizing anybody else's practice. I'm just saying, we are becoming completely in contact with ourselves, with our bodies, with our breath, with the energy that moves within us underneath the breath. And with this contact with ourselves, we are connecting totally to our environment, to our world. And in order to engage this ourselves and this world successfully, we need to understand that we are in this world to grow. And growing means growing the flow, even if we don't know what that is all the time, growing the flow, and ultimately coming to a place where we are growing love. I mean, actually, usually I don't describe this because I say, you get to figure out what growing means to you. And everybody starts looking at me really confused, like, what? So I'm giving you a hint. At this point in my practice, I understand that I am growing love. That's what I'm doing. So, we are keeping our minds away from negativity. We are keeping our minds not so much on the positive side, I should say optimistic side either. We are simply growing. And in our growing, we are allowing our own creative energy to reveal its highest expression in the field of our life. Which should make us more capable, more connected, healthier, and ultimately happy. So there's a fourth part. Trying to keep all this, I'm like trying to put 45 years worth of practice into 30 minutes. The fourth part is connection. I said, my teacher was fierce, our tradition is fierce. In the popular sense, like historically in India, the tradition that I practice worships, the popular side of it, worships fierce goddesses. And nothing is more fierce than a goddess. Not anywhere in the universe is anything like that found. More fierce. And this fierceness is something we bring to our own inner work, in our commitment every day to lift ourselves up and find a flow and connect with our world and fully participate in it, no matter what the character of the feedback is. Because we're in this world to grow. And because of that, some feedback is necessary. If we are going to adapt, feedback is necessary, and feedback is energy. So when we practice here, with our eyes open, in contact with all of our senses and our physical world, we are sitting here trying to connect to ourselves through the breath and the internal concentration, and we are also connecting to me. And in that connection, we are trying to feel the exchange that is happening. Now, on every breath we take, there is always an exchange going on from within us with our total environment on every breath. And every sensory experience that we have, whatever we see, touch, taste, hear, smell, is an energy exchange. You've all had the experience of sitting with someone whom you were really open with, who you liked or cared about, and you having an experience where whatever the words were being said, there was something else going on that was deeper. And really, however it was being said, really beautiful. We've all had that experience. So we are practicing here this experience of energy exchange and beginning to pay attention to the subtlest dimensions of our daily lives within ourselves and in our world in order that we can take in the total environment, circulate and hold it within ourselves and be from within completely transformed. That it will break your heart. I can tell you now, it's going to break your brain. You know, if you look at a tree, well, it started out as an acorn. The first time it hit the ground and got a little water and threw a sprout, it was no longer an acorn. The acorn did not know who it was anymore. Didn't know. It says, who am I? What just happened? But remembering that it is in this world to grow, it will go through 100 million transformations between that first crack in its shell that happens from within itself to its fullest expression as an oak tree. And if you look at a fully grown oak tree, understand that every crack in that bark, represents not a pleasant experience. It represents some complete shifting, some expanding from within that broke that shell. It hurts. But it is a hurt that brings us ever more deeply into connection with ourself and into connection with our world and liberates us from our delusions and our illusions and makes us ever more clearly established in our awareness that we are in this world to grow and it is happening. And, you know, I think I said this last week too. So many people come to me and say, well, what is I need to know my purpose. Help me find my purpose. And I say, if you just pay attention to your breath and the circulation of your energy, and you really care, you care about the quality of your own life, then the simple circulation of the energy and growing will allow your own creative energy to express itself in ways that actually are an unimaginable possibility. Bringing our full attention, first of all, to ourselves, and then to the people that we share our lives with, is every single time we do it going to bring a shift, a change in our experience, which has the potential to uplift us and whomever we are, consciously in connection with. And that's really beautiful. And if you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, you will become skilled in observing and understanding and sharing the gifts that are present in the depth of you, and you will find your life filled with happiness and joy and, abundance that is beyond anything material. And your days will be experienced as beauty. And that's about as enlightened as it gets. Next week I'll take questions. Namaste.